Welcome to Titans for Life. My name is James. Otherwise, you may know me on YouTube as Big Sportsman. I go on a lot of other YouTube Titans channels, and I'm on there quite a bit, interacting with all the fans and such. I promised last week on Titans Rossi Show that my first show ever for Titans for Life will be coming out this week, and here I am. Thank you for joining me on my new channel. This channel is dedicated to Tennessee Titans fans and their fan base and the Tennessee Titans in general. I only ask one thing on this channel, and one thing is to be nice to one another, to be nice to others, whether they're Titans fans or not. You know, I'd love having everybody come in and we can discuss things, because this channel is more than just about the Tennessee Titans. It's about the Tennessee Titans, its fans, American-style football and American-style football fans. It's about all the teams, and all the teams for that matter. So you can feel free in the discussion below to talk about your team also, but we focus primarily on the Tennessee Titans. And it doesn't matter your knowledge base on this channel. There are going to be some people who have years of experience and know almost will think they know almost everything there is to know about football. I personally don't know everything there is to know about football, but there are going to be some that do know more than I. There's going to be some that know less than I do. So we want to be tolerant of all those folks, because not everybody knows everything there is. But the good thing is that on this channel they can learn, and that's where I want this to be. I want this to be a fostering, caring, nurturing channel for people to learn about the game of American football, because that is what I love. I love American football. I love my Titans, and that's the name of the channel, is Titans for Life, because I'm a Titans fan for life. Next, I want to give a shout out and thank Titans Rossi, who supported me and passed on some invaluable knowledge about YouTube, and I also want to thank Titan Upload and Titan Upload Network and my family for helping me with this, because without them I wouldn't be on here right now. And truly, thank you to all of those that helped out. You know, watching guys like Titan Anderson and Titan Upload and Titans Rossi and the Titan Upload Network really inspired me to do this. And I got to talking with Titans Rossi at a game one time, and he was like, you know, man, you really need to get into this. You really need to do it. So I started setting up things, buying things, getting my studio ready, cameras, microphones, lights, and things like that. And then started going through all this. In fact, right now I'm working, I've been talking with Titans Rossi about getting my logo, getting my my intro, my outro, all that kind of stuff done. And he's hooked me up with the places to do that. He's passed on great knowledge to me, and I'm going to make a commitment to him and the Titan Upload Network today that I will pass on knowledge also to those who want to get into broadcasting on YouTube and doing the YouTube thing like we all are. And I think it's very important that we do that as a group, because, you know, Titans fans, it seems to get on the national media, seems to get slapped around a lot and ignored, no matter how good our team is. Put on my my old folks glasses, because otherwise, you know, my wife says you can't see, so I'm going to put these on right now. And finally, I want to thank all of the Tennessee Titans fans that are out there in the world, because without you, this would not be possible. This channel will cover a lot of topics throughout the year. We'll be publishing new videos year round. So this is not just a season thing. This is not just a season, preseason, postseason thing. Year round, we're going to be having lots of interactive activities, including doing some things that are going to be quite fun, where it's going to be you're going to get your chance to see how complicated building a program and a team can be, and the types of things that go into building a team, and the thought processes that kind of go into that. that it gets really complicated. We currently have recorded videos. We're going to be doing recorded videos for the first few videos, and then soon we'll move on to live shows along with recorded videos that will involve you, the fan, being live, doing some things in the chat, doing some things hopefully later on with call-ins and things like that, so that we can kind of participate interactively as a fan base. I do have coaching experience at the youth level, not in the NFL or NCAA or anything like that, but it is at a youth level. And I have learned a lot about team building, building a program, from some of the best youth coaches in the United States. I also want to thank them for their wisdom that they have imparted upon me over the years, and it's been very eye-opening as I take what I've learned and kind of apply it and expand it to things like the NFL and college football. Now, with all that being said, it's time to keep it real. So let's keep it real, y'all. The season up to now has been really much better than most could have actually anticipated before the season started. We went through that brutal portion of the season, that brutal 5-6 games of the season, and came out smelling like roses. The national media didn't want to touch us. They're they can't win this game. They can't win that game. Oh, Derrick Henry's out. That's the end of the Titans. And then we just keep winning. But what I really like to do when I'm looking at a season, I really like to break the seasons of the NFL up into segments, and that's the same at any level of football. You break the season into segments because the segmentation of the season will allow you to see how things are progressing from the beginning of the season to the middle of the season to the end of the season. Now, there are some caveats to that. I look at the NFL season in 4 distinct segments. I look at it games 1 through 4, games 5 through 8, games 9 through 12, and then games 13 now through 17. It used to be 16, but this year it's 17. And there's a reason for that, is that these games show our progression as a team. They show our progression as dealing with injuries and how they occur during the season, and how we handle them throughout the season. We have key injuries in and out of the lineup all over the place. Some of the key injuries, as everyone knows here, is Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, Marcus Johnson. And some of the guys on the offensive line haven't been healthy the whole year. They've been battling through injury, which is pretty difficult to do sometimes. The Titans have ton of IR, a ton of players on IR. The Titans are 8-3, and we currently have 15, but I suspect there will be a 16th added as the time of publishing of this video on IR, and that's second to only the New York Giants. That's it. The New York Giants, who is a 3-6 team, and your Titans are just really battling through those and are a much better team. Now, we're tied with Denver and with number of players on IR, which they are only 5-5. We have the New York Jets, we're tied with them, and they're 2-8. And we have the Baltimore Ravens, who's the only other team that has as many people on IR as we do. And they are at 7-3. They're the only other team that's above 500. Think about that. We're leading the AFC. And all of these other teams are below or at 500, with the exception of the Ravens, who are literally 7-3 and below the Tennessee Titans in the standings for the AFC. The Titans currently have $32 million sitting on IR. Think about that, $32 million. That means that there are a lot of starters sitting on IR. There's a lot of guys who are really contributors who are sitting on IR. And the Titans have $32 million sitting on IR at this point. That includes 6 starters on IR. And the Titans have used an NFL high, an NFL high 82 players this season. In fact, the record for the most used is 85, and the Titans are going to crush it probably this week with the injuries that we had with this last weekend against the Tennessee against the Texans, the Houston Texans. That's just amazing. I mean, this has been wow, a weird year for injuries for the Titans. You know. It's pretty interesting that we've used 82 players and we only have a 53-man roster. So that's got to tell you we've gone on in the street, got some guys, brought them in, let them play, played them a lot, and then either made a change due to they didn't work out the way we wanted them to, or we went into where we just needed to make roster space because of another injury or another set of injuries where we had to bring other guys in at those positions. It's been a really, really strange and difficult year for the Titans when it comes to injury management. And just to be quite honest with you, I think that the Titans medical staff should probably be being paid overtime for all the work they're having to do, because this has been incredible. I've never seen a team suffer through this many injuries and still be atop of not only their division but their conference, and have beat what everyone said in the national media as being the better teams in the conference. The Kansas City Chiefs beaten, the Buffalo Bills. Well, we beat them too. We weren't even supposed to win our division, and we went out there and played the Colts twice and beat them at the Nissan Stadium, and then went to their house and said, "No, this ain't y'all's house no more. Thank you for the keys. Get out." Well, we beat them there too. The Houston loss is a tough loss, but at some point, the number of injuries you have to think of it in these terms. At some point, the number of injuries that you have in your locker room and the guys you have out, at some point, it's going to take its toll. And that's what I'm seeing with the Titans right now. When you look at the film, it's not that we don't have talent. It's not that the guys who are replacing them don't have some level of talent, because they wouldn't be in the NFL if they didn't. They have talent. The problem with it is that a lot of the guys that are being replaced are veterans. They have been there for a long time. They've been in the NFL for a long time. They know how to deal with this kind of stuff. They know how to run routes properly. They know how to look and read a defense and say, "Oh, this is I'm supposed to be running." I'm supposed to be running a slant, but because they're in zone and instead of man, which is what I was expecting when I came out of the huddle and got in my position. So my route needs to be adjusted to run a little flatter or run a little taller, and I need to climb up a little bit and find that dead zone. That's the things that younger receivers have a hard time dealing with. Whereas in college, you're told to go to a spot, and that's where you're supposed to be. And that you're supposed to get there. In the NFL, receivers are told you must read the defense, and at that point, when you're reading that defense, you have to understand that your route maybe need to be broke off early. Your route may need to be changed, and you need to run that crossing instead of continuing to drag across that crossing route. You need to sit down in the route. For instance, there's one I saw. In the Texans game where it should have been a slight comeback near the end zone, and I believe it was Dez Fitzpatrick ran the route the wrong way based upon the coverage that he was seeing, and it ended up being an interception because he didn't run it properly. He ran the right route, and that's what I've been seeing a whole lot on YouTube and in the national media. Oh, he ran the wrong route. He didn't run the wrong route. That's not what he did. What he did is he ran the right route, but ran that route incorrectly based upon the coverage of the defense. And there's a very, very distinct difference that a lot of people aren't getting, and that a lot of people are just glossing over and not understanding that. What Dez should have done is he should have ran up, and then when the ball gets there, he's supposed to come back. He's supposed to stop, come back. So and place his body between the corner, the safety, and the safety and the ball, so that the only way the ball gets intercepted is that they go through him. So he puts his body in front of them in a way that the only way to get to the ball is to get through him. And at that point, it would have been a first down anyway, first and goal, but he didn't do that. He continued to run the route the way it was called, as opposed to running the route the way the route is supposed to be ran under that type of coverage. So what ends up happening is the ball gets intercepted because the defender comes back a little bit, goes down and gets the ball and intercepts it at the 1 yard line. And that's the problem with having young receivers and young players, is they don't have the full nuance of the types of things that they're asked to do in the NFL versus college, and that usually takes a little bit of time. You can probably count on one hand, maybe two hands, the number of players that can come directly out of college and are ready to be placed in those, quote, skill positions, and play them and run them the correct way, the NFL way, which is different than college. So that's the real issue with our injuries this year, is we're replacing veterans who have lots of starts, lots of plays, lots of reps, lots of film study, with younger guys who have very little of all of that, and maybe even no experience, like Dez Fitzpatrick had. And that's where it really gets you. It's not the skill level. These guys are all fast, they're all big, they're all strong. It's not the skill level. It's really the knowledge of how to deal with these instances within these plays. The next thing is I really want to talk about Mike Vrabel and the Coach of the Year. I believe he's in Vegas. They've got him at 600 or maybe 800 to 1 as to win Coach of the Year. Come on, yo. The national media is putting everybody else out there. They're saying that all of these other guys are better and deserve it. I mean, come on. This is the same thing with Derrick Henry last year. Derrick Henry did not get one single vote for Player of the Year with a 2,000-yard season. Not one. Are you kidding me? For real, yo? Are you joking? Not a single. Not one? Really? Man, what's a Titan got to do to get some recognition? What's a Titan got to do to go out there and get Player of the Year? What's a Titan got to do to go out there and get Coach of the Year? I don't know. You've got the best team in the AFC by record and by head-to-head in most counts, out there winning games without a Hall of Fame wide receiver in Julio Jones, the best running back in the NFL, and you heard me right, I said the best running back in the NFL. The best running back in the NFL. Derrick Henry. He's lost the best wide receiver on the team, which is not the future Hall of Famer Julio Jones. It's actually A.J. Brown. He's lost him on and off all season. Lost Bud Dupree. The entire wide receiving core. Let's just go ahead and say the entire wide receiving core. I don't know if there's a game this season that the entire wide receiver core has been healthy and in there playing. I don't think there has been. I don't recall a game where that happened. And you're telling me that Mike Vrabel doesn't deserve to be coach of the year? Really? For real? Really? Come on now. And we've lost our at times our number 2 running back, our number 3 running back. We've lost our best tight end. We've lost all 4 starting cornerbacks at some time during the year. Our O-line has been missing entire games, and I mean we've missed entire games from Taylor Lewan, Roger Saffold. I mean, you name the player on the offensive line, he's missed. Ben Jones. They've all missed games, and we still win. We've missed 3/4 of our linebacking core, have missed 2 or more games. 3/4 of our linebacking core. We run a 3-4. We're missing 3 of the 4. For real. And Vrabel gets no love. With all of that, he still holds the best record in the AFC. He's not only winning the division, he's winning the conference. Man, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. If this was any other coach, there wouldn't even be a vote. He'd be coach of the year already. We've beaten the most teams with winning records from the previous season, and beaten the most teams with that's been to the playoffs in the previous season. We've beaten them all. For real. This is insane. I've never seen nothing like it. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. Let me get my old folks glasses. I don't want to misconstrue the actual statistics. I want these stats on record. Since 1993, only 5 teams in the NFL have used more than 80 players in a season. The most wins of those teams was San Francisco, won 6 games. San Francisco won 6 games. 6. Those teams' combined records are 18, 61, and 1. Those 5 teams, 18, 61, and 1. They have an average win percentage of 22.5. The Titans are sitting at 8-3. That's 8-3 with a win percentage of 72.7. It's never been done in the NFL. We're going to break the record for the most players played in the NFL probably this weekend. With the roster moves that have occurred already at the time of filming, the Titans are scheduled to break the NFL record for most players played in a season. And he gets absolutely zero credit for doing that and have the winning record. And not only having the winning record, having the division. No, not only having the division, but having the conference. Being atop the conference. This is uncharted territory. There's never been anything like this in the NFL. He is making history. Mike Vrabel and his coaching staff are making history in the NFL, and they're getting slapped around by the national media because they don't want to admit, well, maybe we were wrong at the Titans. Maybe they really are better than we thought. Maybe all the credit that we're giving to everyone else, it was probably may not have been deserved. The national media needs to wake up and acknowledge the outstanding work that Vrabel and his coaching staff has done. If any other team would have done this, that coach would have been a shoo-in for the coach of the year. And to be honest with you, that is keeping it real. Titans for life, baby. If you like this video, smash that like button at the bottom and subscribe below. And remember, we always tighten up. Titans for life.